The Ten Commandments. So ubiquitous, so present everywhere, that they have now shaped so much of Western civilization. It's not too much to say that laws in Europe and in North America and in South America have been so fundamentally shaped by these Ten Commandments that we often don't even notice it. These Ten Commandments are beautiful because they form for us the very first Bill of Rights in human history. You know what we mean by Bill of Rights? So after the U.S. Constitution was written, it dawned on people like James Madison and others that though the government had rules in the Constitution, there was no rule protecting you from the power of the government. And so in 1791, legislators got together and said, let's write protections for the ordinary person so the government can't run over them. The first 10 amendments of the U.S. Constitution are called the Bill of Rights. And by the way, you know what the very first one is? Congress shall make no law establishing a religion or restricting the free exercise thereof. The very first amendment, the very first right that every human has is the right to go out at Nissan, to go to MTSU, to walk down to the city square, to go to Starbucks, and to live your religion openly. That's your very first right. And it's not just a right you were given by the government, it's a right you were given by God. The government just acknowledges that. Long before our Bill of Rights, however, the Ten Commandments expressed a Bill of Rights. It's beautiful. Think about it. This Bill of Rights, what it says is this: because God created you, God has a right for your full allegiance. God has a right to stop you or expect you to stop worshiping any other God. He has a right to do this. God has a right for you to take His name with sacredness. It's His name. He has a right for you to respect it. How about the Sabbath day? God has a right for you to honor holy days. This was the transitional one, number 3. God has a right for you to honor holy days, and He has the right for you to rest. You have a right to rest. Your kids have a right to rest. Your dog has a right to rest. Your goat has a right to rest. Everybody has a right to rest. Then He says, your parents, they have a right to get your respect. They have a right for your respect. Then He says, the next person has a right to life. You don't have a right to take that person's life. The next person has a right to his property. The next person has a right for the truth. The next person has a right to know that you're not going to steal his wife or his husband, her husband. The next person has a right to know that you're not sitting there secretly plotting how you're going to take all of their possessions. It's the first Bill of Rights in history, well over 3,000 years old. And it lives on. And I want you to notice that Jesus points out that the Ten Commandments are actually premised on 2 basic principles. 1, you love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Those are the first 3. You love God enough that He's your only God. You love God enough that you honor His name. You love God enough that you honor holy days. And then 2, you love your neighbor. You love your neighbor enough not to kill him. You love your neighbor enough not to steal from him. You love your neighbor enough not to covet his stuff or lie to him. But it goes even further, and I want you to see this. In English, we don't have a plural or singular you. We just have you. The closest you get is in the South, where we have y'all if it's more than one of you, and you if it's one, or if you're on the Cumberland Plateau, it's youans if you're one. And what we mean by this, y'all, is all of you, and you is one. Now, in the Hebrew language, they had y'all and you built into it. Here's what I want you to see. The Ten Commandments are not plural, they're singular. In other words, the command is not for the government. It's for you. It's a personal ethic. Now that matters because we live in an age in which personal ethics are not regarded very highly, but public policy or so-called social justice is out the roof important to Americans. But the Ten Commandments reverse that. The Ten Commandments would want you to know that no social justice will ever work if people aren't living the right kinds of lives. And so these are personal ethics and not just social policy. The Ten Commands, God's way of ordering society so people live the right kind of life, respecting His rights and the rights of others.
Hey, I'm John.
And I'm Abby, and we are the hosts of Boulevard Online.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give us a big thumbs up by hitting the subscribe button right down below.
To watch the full message that this clip is from, you want to click right here. And if you want to watch some other videos, you can click right down here.
We'd love to see you again 10:20 every Sunday morning. We'll have great worship, fun stories, and a great message. We'd love to see you. Until then, be blessed.
And don't forget to be a blessing.